so you can go ahead and say what you're saying, because that's good stuff.
But, I just really believe that we as a people, we as an African people, we have been living in illusion, and we have been sitting on a gold mine.
Wow.
And I'm saying that because we have so much value to us. But this psychological thing, and what I'm noticing, even with this current election, it's a human thing. It's not a black thing. What the mind does, and this is why, it's important to always understand how the mind functions and how it works. Because I'm listening to people's views towards what the future holds. And I just don't know, Philippe. I don't have a moment of intrepidation in my heart. I'm not fearful. And I think it's because I pray to Harriet Tubman every day. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's Sophie Meyer.
Hey,
Sophie, that's Professor. That's your uncle.
Hey, I got a cat I want you to meet. In fact, I got two cats. One look like you and one don't.
Yolanda's trying to sneak out. Go ahead, baby. I love you too, baby. Go, Sophie.
Sophie.
See you later. All right, baby. Go ahead, Professor. So, you said this is a human issue, not a black or white thing with
politics of fear and how the mind can take over, and how European supremacy has come into existence and how it still prevails, how it still lives. Because I see it's time to get busy, not time to be scared. Being scared is a state of mind. Getting busy is an action-oriented thing.
Nice, I like that.
And so it's a totally different way of looking at what's going on. I say this to black folk. This is my question. Do you think that Harriet Tubman ever was concerned who was the president when she was bringing African folk on the Underground Railroad?
Wow, there it is. That's pretty good right there.
Like, do you ever think that every 4 years when the presidential election came up, she was ever worried about who was president? Like it was going to impact the work she was doing on the Underground Railroad.
Wow.
That's how I feel.
Wow.
Whether Hillary Clinton became president or whether Barack Obama got a third term,
right,
I still would be doing what I'm doing. Nothing changes that. So what are you fearful of? What are you concerned about? What can he do to you that has not been done exponentially to you?
Right.
Over the past 300-400 years. So what are you afraid of? I don't want to say things are getting better, but the fact that you're still alive, they are. They are getting better. The conditions, all that we're faced, I understand that. I'm not saying that that's not happening. My point is, we're spending psychological time in fear of something that doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And as I've said, applying digital nomics and getting the Gumroads piece in place and getting this information up onto the internet, accessible to our people, and putting it in a marketing way. In other words, it's not what you sell as much as it is how you sell it.
You're correct.
Because I'm around geniuses, man. I'm around some scholars that are absolute geniuses.
No doubt.
But they got to market their stuff.
Yeah.
They have to present it. Okay, I know we don't like, or maybe some of us have challenges with Dr. Bill Cosby. But I remember there was once in his Cosby show, there was a segment where one of his daughter, don't quite remember her TV name, but the show was she went away to college, she got engaged, and she brought her fiance back home, and it was a surprise to everybody. And the whole show dealt with the relationship that the father, Bill Cosby, had with this man that she had brought home. And at first, Bill Cosby was unsure, and he was asking questions. Long story short, by the end of the show, Bill Cosby liked them. He said, this guy, he's a hard worker. He's got a future. He wants to do certain things. He's looking forward to. He loves my daughter. It's a good thing. But he gave the analogy at dinner when they were all eating. He said, it's like, and then he went through this mouth-watering example of a meal. And he said, it's like taking all this wonderful food and putting it on the top of a trash can and presenting the meal. And what I got from that, the analogy is that you can have a wonderful thing, but if your presentation ain't right,
nice,
you'll miss it. And that's what I believe, that when I say that we've been sitting on a gold mine, I'm talking about the economics that we hear such great scholars like Dr. Claude Anderson and Dr. George Frazier, Sister Susan Taylor, and all the other brothers and sisters in the economic world have been talking about. I am now experiencing, because it's, you have to present it to the people in a way that's digestible, that it's a piecemeal type of thing, that there is a part that you let the community know that there is no price for this. And this is precious to me. This is important to me. But this I'm giving to you because I love you and I respect you and we have work to do. This has a price to it. And there must be a certain amount of revenue that comes in that allows me to continue my work.
Right.
Take away my concern about paying the rent. Take away my concern about these other superficial things that allow me to go out and, for instance, yesterday, I went out and bought a series of books that I need to move this program forward. I need these books. I need to make Xerox copies. It's cheaper to go and make Xerox copies of it than it is for me to do it on my printer, which takes up too much print because ink is too expensive.
Sure.
So when I'm doing Xeroxing, my mind is saying, should I go to Staples and pay 8 cents a page? Or should I print it out on my printer? These are decisions I make. And they're all economic in nature. Because if I had unending ink, I wouldn't worry about this.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That would never come into my head.
Right.
But I don't have unending ink. Ink costs. So that these are the types of economic questions that we all, and you know, because I'm learning from you, so you know what I'm saying. But I'm trying to express it in a way that I'm a novice at this, in a sense, because I've spent most of my life in research.
Right, right.
This is where my life has been in research. Now, since over the past 2 years, you've been talking to me about taking this message to the next level so that you can begin to have the type of income that allows you to be able to do your work unchallenged by superficial issues. Because economics is superficial in a sense. It's getting the word out that's important. And as I meet so many great people, great scholars, great people who have something to say to us and that have a way to make a financial income from it, so they're not sweating, how am I going to do this? Or how am I going to do that? Or I got to wait until next year to do this because this is where my money has to go right now. My credit cards are such that I have to pay the credit card, but I wouldn't have been able to feed my family without a credit card. There was a summer that I used credit card just to feed my family when I was when I was a teacher in the beginning of my career. The summertime with no job during the summer, I spent going to restaurants with a credit card, sitting down and eating a meal, and then ordering takeout. And that takeout lasted a couple of days. I did that the whole summer until I got back to school in September and started my checks back again.
Wow.
So I feel what it's like to go through this. When
it's called feast or famine.
Absolutely. And you have to make choices.
Right. Right.
And because of this, there are many people with great ideas and wonderful ways to make it happen, but they don't have the capital behind them to do it. Now you have Indiegogo and you have GoFundMe, you have other ways that this can be done. Okay. I tend not to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a personal choice. And there are reasons why personally I don't do that. But this work that we've been doing and the free e-course has allowed the community to be exposed to this book that I'm writing on spirituality before religions.
Mm-hmm.
It's given them my notes. And it has also, for those that go out and buy the books, you'll see the page number is there and the quote is there. That's important as it relates to what I'm going to use for the book. Now, when you go into that piece, what you're going to first see is that, oh, let me see. I think I'm going to go get the book, The Spirit of Intimacy by Sobon Fusome, or I'm going to go get A Dark Light by Edward Bruce Bynum. When you go into my notes, the page is there. So as you're reading the book, the notes reinforce what you're reading. So what I'm also doing is assisting the community in just developing a study habit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just notes with no page number where you would have to just read the book and say, I think I remember where I saw that quote.
Mm-hmm.
I got the page number right there for you. This is how I teach people how to take notes and how to study. This e-course is not just information. It's also attempting to show folk how to study, to take the page number down. Because if you come upon an important concept in a book that you're reading, whatever it may be, and if you just, let's say you say, oh, okay, I'm gonna copy it down, but you don't put the page number.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you come upon that note again one day, but you want to look at it from a different perspective. If you don't have that page number down, you will have to go through every page to figure out where you saw that, unless you have a photographic memory.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, so I put the page number down.
Mm-hmm.
So this e-course is also a way that you can learn or get a pattern of study. People say to me, man, how do you remember all these things?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I see you talking and you ain't even got no notes in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there is a method of study. I'm telling people, you know, I am no different from you. The same potential I have, you have.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you see me doing this, you have the potential to do it too. And I'm going to show you how I do what I do. And what I do is I immerse myself in the book. There are many different ways. When I open up a book, I call myself introducing myself to the book.
I like that.
You know, one of the first things that I do is look at the front cover. Then I look at the back cover. And then one of the first things I do is I read the last paragraph of the book.
Interesting.
Because the last paragraph of the book should summarize the entire purpose of the book itself.
Wow.
And then I go read the first paragraph of the book to see if the first paragraph and the last paragraph, they should almost be mirror images of each other.
There should be some level of correlation.
Exactly. One sets you on the journey and the other reminds you what the journey was. In reading the book, you will know why he wrote the book in the first paragraph, and you'll understand why he wrote the book, or she, in the last paragraph. Then I go to the table of contents. And then I just skim the book to see what the chapters look like. What's the level of language? What's the vocabulary level? Is it 6th grade level? Is it 12th grade level? Do you have some words that I'm going to need a dictionary for?
Mm-hmm.
And is there a glossary? If there's no glossary, then I have to have my dictionary and my thesaurus next to the book when I'm reading it. These are things that you need to know when you're going to read a book. And so these are the types of methods that I use. But I believe that as a people, man, we are sitting, and Minister Farrakhan's words are as true as they always are. And that is that God, Allah, or God, or Yahweh, or Oduduwa, whoever you want to call this creator, gave the internet to black folk.
Wow.
He said, you've been dependent on other people too long. I'm going to give you something you can depend on yourself. This is Malcolm's answer, and Marcus Garvey's answer, and Elijah Muhammad's answer, and everybody else has been telling us we have to do for ourselves and stop depending on other people to do what we should be doing for ourselves. Because even if they did it, I wouldn't be that proud. I'm only proud when I do something. So even if someone does give you something, it's what you do with it that matters. And I think that this is just something we have to start thinking about. We have to take our own destiny in our hands and let no one fear us. Because if we thought this way, no matter who was in the presidency, it would make no difference to me, nor did it make any difference to Harriet Tubman, who was the president.
That's right.
If you're doing what you're supposed to do, it don't make a difference who's the president of the United States.
That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. All right, my brother, let me turn the recorder off on that green room. So that was some good green room right there. Hold on.